Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to give a shout out to High Frequency Performance Gear. What's up, Brother Abdul? Got to give a shout out to Eden Clothing Company, Hustle House Studios, buy anybeansnecessary.com. Get your coffee. Make sure you check it out. Once again, buy anybeansnecessary.com. Get your coffee. STGTV. So many out there, man. You know, I appreciate everyday people. Documentary coming soon, but we got to get into the show real quick. Check this out. Sexual harassment. You know, they hit Tavis-Smiley and Warren Sapp and Conyers and so many, Warren Moon and Russell Simmons. But let's get into the reason why. Bam. Your DNA carry memory. Your genetic coding. It carries the memory of your parents, your grandparents, because you came down that line. Am I lying? Okay, let's see. When you go to the hospital, they ask, did you have a family history of this disease or this and that, all the way down to mental illness, because they know that more than you are who your parents were, in a sense, even though you have the freedom, free will, freedom of choice, freedom to think, freedom to study different knowledge to become different or opposite than what your parents was. But at the most part, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, that your thoughts, your genes, the DNA carries memory. All right. Now, so slavery time hits, right? Slave master needed new slaves. He go get what they call a buck. He call a female a heifer, produce that child. You can read the Willie Lynch letters, and it details the system that they created to do such. So now you got a male coming from a place, let's say Africa, even the Olmecs, even the blacks who was already here. They knew the law of the law that the Creator gave them as far as mating and dealing with each other, you know. But as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated, and Brother Rob Muhammad reinforced and said one day, that they didn't teach us the art of mating. Okay, so now they created a system to have a baby making machine, but it was contrary to the system that God created. But they didn't care. They just wanted to produce more slaves so they can have more money. You know, greed. So what happened was you had men who were forced to go into women if they were childbearing age. And at that time, it could have been from 13 on up. Get pregnant to have that baby so it could be born into forced slavery. Punishment was death, beatings, if the buck or the heifer didn't want to cooperate. So they had to create a system. You know, look, there's no feelings involved. There's no emotions involved, no love involved. You know, hey, look, this is what needs to take place to have these children. So, hey, I don't want to get beat. I don't want to see you beaten. So, just close your eyes. Let's do what we got to do to produce these children. But these children wasn't born out of a reunion of personal love between each individual, but it was born out of a union of the desire to be free, the love for blackness, and the love to exist on this planet. So it did have a sense of love, just didn't have the essence of two people coming together for a purpose. It was forced, but that created a system that carried on to today's time where, yeah, that genetic coding, that slave memory to where you can just fornicate, go into a woman, produce a child, and move on. That's a system that was designed, that was created. God created one system that we did do prior to slavery, but during slavery, the old way of you had to put aside the righteous way to protect your life in order to serve the slave master. So after 4 generations, the original way in which the Creator taught us how to mate was forgotten, and let's say out of 100%, let's say only 5% remembered the old way. Other 95% took on a new way of the slave master in his system that was taught. And so now, what would be the example of how marriage and mating should be? So you had to look over at how white men treated white women, how white women treated white men. But they had to put an act on in front of the slave because they had to appear that they was upright and holy. But then, when anger came around between white men and white women, slaves saw that, and in their mind, some thought, well, hey, maybe this is the way how relationships should be, because that was the only opposite example they had versus the way that was forced upon them to produce a child out of wedlock. Meaning they wanted to indulge us or have us deeply engaged in sin to break the spirit. Because the first slaves, it was hard. A lot of them got beat because they didn't want to go against their God. But then after a period of time, and after the example of murder and death that was placed upon them from not obeying the slave master, after that point, they broke and was like, we gotta create a system. Look, we all the original people. We all black. We gonna have to do this thing, have these children, and create this child for this white man for slavery, or this Caucasian or this European. We just gonna have to do it. And so once they accepted and created their way, then that mindset was passed down through generations. And it hasn't been cut off yet. That's why you can go to any predominantly black community, USA, and you'll see women with babies and no father. If you are a black man and you with your child's mother, that means that you came from that 5% who fought mentally not to be a part of that slave-making mind, or that slave mind. Let me rephrase that. If you're a black man and you understand the need for a man to be with his children, you might not be with the mother, but you understand the responsibility of a man to a child. You're a part of that 5%, and understanding the purpose, and by you being active in their lives, how it'll help shape and build a positive future. That means you have knowledge of that essence. So that means that down the line within your family DNA or blood, that they fought and found a system to pass down the original way things should be done. They wasn't broke. But like they didn't, how you break a horse. They compare breaking a slave to breaking a horse. They didn't break them. They didn't break the 5. You see what I'm saying? They didn't get broke. So now, baptizing. You can do the Christian, Catholic, Baptist ritual to be baptized, dumped in the water, whatever. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's symbolism. Cool. But the real baptism is the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because those teachings will wash out all of what the slave master put into the black man and woman, the original man and woman, for over 400 years. Because that teaching, because think about it, the longer you wait to wash it out, it'll become a stain, and then that'll just be who you are. But 400 years is not enough time that it can be erased. 450 years, 500 years. Now, when it start getting into 600 years, well, really, it's damn near too late now. But okay, but it's not. But the die hasn't been set. You know how you got a marker or something, and it gets on something, and you hear it and wash it out before it sets, and you're like, oh man, good, it didn't ruin it. Yeah, it's similar to that. You gotta get a higher teaching that's higher than what the slave master had to teach you, so you can wash out everything that he put in your mind that forced you to become a slave. Because you didn't just when blacks first got captured in Africa, they didn't say it's over with. Ah man, I'm a slave now. They fought because they knew something better. Man, it took years to break blacks to accept slavery, or to create a system where they could tolerate slavery so everybody wouldn't get slaughtered. That we were so busy caring about surviving till we didn't put the mathematics together and say that damn, they couldn't do anything without us. Hell, we building their wealth. That we are the most valuable piece to this whole puzzle. But we was bombarded with so much pain till we couldn't look past the pain. We was too busy healing wounds and trying to find different methods to heal physically and mental wounds, as we still are fighting and trying to find ways to heal the mental wounds of slavery, or what was deemed. And when you watch Everyday People, you'll see how Freeway Rick Ross alluded to post-traumatic slave disorder. Also, Jasmine Blue. Big shout out to her. Oh yeah, but so after as we created a system to cope with a ruthless system that was forced upon us, then it took all our focus and concentration on pain and trying to sneak some good moments of joy, or try to create joy out of a hellish situation, a horrific situation. I mean, imagine you trying to create joy, and you locked in a Asian dungeon prison, and you trying to create a little semblance of joy. That'll damn near make you crack it up within itself. That'll damn near crack you up out within itself. So we have to, how should I say, understand what's going on today, and we gotta get brainwashed, and we gotta change we gotta wash out our brains, as me and Brother Nasir was speaking upon, on mental self-defense. But we have to find ways to rethink this thing and how we deal with one another. Sisters, you have to, I'm sorry, you have to dress in a way to help, to give us time to recover, because you got to remember, you walked in the room as a man, she, to get him excited, she just had to get naked, and he couldn't rely on the beauty within, he had to rely on the beauty without, get the job done, and get on and move on to the next slave woman. You see what I'm saying? So, sometimes by you all dressing in a certain way that's half naked, of course a man gonna look. Of course he gonna be like, because of the we gotta remember the black woman is the original woman, so she gonna have the best body. She gonna have the best attributes. She gonna have the best skin color. You see what I'm saying? So of course that's natural, but you can't put it out there for the whole world to see, and then when a man says something, you sexually harassed me. You know what I mean? That's not harassing. He just admiring what he sees. Because it's out there for the world to see. So how is that harassment? Verbal Pick Radio, we at